Hi, this is Eric Point with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Alex Bernard from Strategos Games, looking at Glory, a game of Knights, non-final production version.
Correct.
Right,
yeah, this is prototype.
Ahead of time, but we can learn how to play the game. I know, obviously we're doing something with Knights. What are we doing? Are we controlling them, or are we the Knights ourselves?
So we are the Knights ourselves. So in Glory Game of Knights, you are a young knight trying to gain favor from the nobles, fight some robber knights, and basically buy your way into upgrading your armor, upgrading your horse, and getting more strength in order to compete in the tournament and win as many of your tournament fights as possible.
Okay.
So basically in this game, it's got the Euro worker placement, first half of the game that happens, and then after that you've got the I like to call it like the Ameritrash part of it, where you're just dice rolling, and what happens in the first half is that this is where you get all your dice roll mitigation. So that way it makes for a fun, fun competing.
Planning for that ahead of time.
Correct.
How many players?
So this will play 1 to 4. Okay. There is a solo mode set up for it. They're still tweaking that a little bit, but the base game is really 2 to 4 players. But it can play solo as well.
Okay. So what's the nature of a turn?
Sure. So
this is what we're starting with.
Correct. So yeah. So these are going to be our starting resources, and
I'm going to move this up here just to.
There you go. Just to give a little visual.
That's right.
So then the way that the game plays is that first everyone has their 5 knights that they get to play with, and so you get five actions that you'll get to take. After which you'll have an opportunity to play 3 of your quest cards in order to gain more bonuses. Then everything gets reset, and then everyone will get to take one of their shields and seed in the tournament. So this gives you an opportunity to decide. So basically, I'm like, well, this guy is not very strong, so I'm going to want to go against him first, and then hopefully after I'm done fighting with him, then whoever wins this one, hopefully it'll be this guy, and I'll get to move up here and fight against him and move on. So this kind of helps.
You're seeding the tournament board as well with these AI or
correct. Yeah. So essentially, if the two, if we had 2 players playing, then after they choose where they go, then we would just seed this with more of these guys here, in order to show, who's going to move up and who's going to move on from there.
Okay. But we could have it as well where I'm facing off against you.
Oh yes, correct, yes. And then we'll talk about that here in just a quick second.
Okay.
But that's essentially the sense of a round. So you play your cards, then reset. Do that twice, and then the tournament happens. So in the worker placement phase, what will happen is that you got these different places. So you can go get supporters, which these are usually a one-time play during the tournament, during a fight. So essentially, if you have a bad roll with your white die, I end up with a nothing, and I'm like, okay, well, I need a few more points to defeat this opponent, so I'm going to use his ability, the Squire, and that will just let me go straight to a 4. Okay. So that's some dice mitigation right there. Otherwise, I can go and get some quests, so I could go to this space and then get 2 quest cards. The different quest cards, you got the maidens that would just give you some bonuses automatically. Otherwise, something a little stronger, you just have to pay for it with coins. Or you can fight these robber knights and get their special bonuses right down here. So we got that. We've got an opportunity to get an additional seed in the tournament. So trying to get more points by fighting, and also getting more strength. Because the white die is the strength of your horse, the blue die is the strength of your armor, but the red die you have to use strength for.
Okay.
So you spend those to get the red die. Faith is the all-important re-roll.
Okay.
You get a really bad roll, hey, I'm going to use some faith, use up one of my faith tokens, and re-roll up to 3 die. Getting more money, because money is very tight in the game. And then an opportunity to spend some money in order to upgrade your knight and your horse. So each time you do an upgrade, well, that's an extra die that you get to roll.
Okay.
So that's helpful. And then also there's going to be 3, so that goes up to 1, 2, and then there's another card for 3 and 4.
I just curious with the upgrading a horse, like
I know. What does it do?
No.
It just looks nice. A little cooler on the card. Yeah. And then there's also, at the beginning of the game, there's 3 titles that are set up. So this is kind of like your Euro end game victory points that you can try to go after.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I know if I have 5 points at the end of the game, that's going to give me an extra 5 victory points.
Okay.
So it's like in the back of your mind, like if I keep my tabs on this, I'll be able to get a little something extra.
Okay.
Yeah, so you do your worker phase, and then you get to play up to 3 cards, so, you know, this will give me 2 extra victory points. If I pay this, I get to upgrade my horse. It's kind of good stuff.
Okay.
So the tournament, the all-important tournament part, we're still doing good, okay on time?
Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
Yeah. And so this is the fun part. So let's say for the first tournament, let's say I'm going against this guy who's an 8 strength. So I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm probably going to want to spend, let's say I would want to spend 3 of my strength. That would give me 3 red die. And then I've only got a level 1 horse, that's 1 white die, and a level 2 armor, so that would give me 2 blue die. Now when I roll, I get the best of each color.
Okay.
So I would take this one, this one, and that one. Right, there you go. So obviously, he's toast. I knocked him off his horse, he's done. Now with this, the other nice thing, because with dice rolling, there's a lot of luck, it's best 2 out of 3.
Okay.
So basically with this one I would win, but let's say I had rolled, you know, something like this. I might say, you know what, I think I'll let him have this round.
Rather than spend rerolls.
Right, yeah, spend any of your other resources. Yeah, you let him have one. So it's best 2 out of 3. And then, you know, when you move up against the NPCs, they have a certain amount of victory points, so you would just move up. And the game's called Glory, so it's glory points.
Yep.
So yeah, so this will give me a certain amount of points. If I'm fighting against another person, if I win, I get 8 points. If the loser wins at least 1 round, he would get half of those points, and he would get to get some of his resources back. So it's not horrible to lose, but obviously it's always best to win. And then if you happen to go all the way up to the top, then you would get 3 additional points. Now the really interesting part about this is that you do one section, one tournament, and then immediately after you're going to do a second tournament.
Okay.
So you got to be really calculated in how many resources you use, how you use them,
and how you want to seed yourself in both.
Exactly, and then you're like, you know what, I'm up here, I'm really starting to run low on resources. I might just let this other guy win so I have a chance at the second round.
Okay.
And so then, yeah, you do that twice over, see if you can get any of these, and then whoever has the most glory points wins.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alex.
Okay.
A review. Glory! There we go. A game of nights.